Hello everybody, welcome to Career Unjar IAS. So this is me Praveen Chaube, and here I am going to discuss one important topic from environment, that is important international agreement on hazardous material. Now this topic is important for your this year prelims exam. Okay, as you all know, 2.5 months is left for your prelims exam. So this is very important. You should know what are the important topics from environment, geography, polity, history, economy that you should cover for your this year prelims exam. So this is our initiative that we just introduce some of the important topics that will be helpful for your prelims exam. Okay, so let's start this session. So first of all, we talk about Stockholm Convention. So Stockholm Convention, maybe in prelims they will ask you a question directly: which of the following statement is correct about Stockholm Convention, or Stockholm Convention is for what type of means the things that cover under this convention. So first you should know the location where exactly this Stockholm is located, because name itself is very unique name. So most of the student will confuse where exactly it located him. And in prelims exam, map based question will be there. 4 to 5 question will be from map based. So maybe they can ask you question from Stockholm make border with which of the following water bodies. So here you see Stockholm is located and is located in countries called Sweden, and make a border with North Baltic Sea. Okay, North Baltic Sea. So this is the one important location for prelims point of view. And above it, Gulf of Bothnia, here Norwegian Sea. Norway is the country that make border with Sweden, and this is called Finland. Okay, so location is very important. Now let's come on main topic. What exactly about things cover under Stockholm Convention? So Stockholm Convention is a global treaty. Okay, it's a global treaty. You can say international treaty to protect human health and the environment from persistent organic pollutant. Now, question is here: what is persistent organic pollutant? The Stockholm Convention is a global treaty. First of all, it's international agreement that protect human health. Not only human health, but it also agreement that give a protection for the environment from the persistent organic pollutant. Okay, second important point is it was opened for signature in 2001 is in Stockholm, Sweden, and became effective in 2004. So whenever you will read this type of convention, try to also remember the name of the place where it was signed and year when it was came into force. It was signed in 2011 but came into effect in 2004. So these 2 years is very very important, 2001 and 2004. And this international agreement give protection for both human health and the environment. Okay, now let's understand what is persistent organic pollutant. So persistent organic pollutant are carbon based organic chemical substances, okay, that display the following properties once they are released into the environment. Means those organic substance will come under a category of persistent organic pollutant that are carbon based, and these they show following properties. Means lifespan, means how many days they stay in the environment, or they will remain in the environment. So those persistent organic pollutant, this those substance which remain in the environment for a long period of time, in years, not in a days, not in a month, not in a weeks, it is about the years. Okay, that will stay in the environment for a long period of times, counted years. That is one important characteristic of persistent organic pollutant. Second one, it distributed from one place to another place with the help of natural carriers. Now natural carriers, as you know, wind is blowing, okay, water, river is flowing, soil, okay, soil is another carriers that transport these minerals, this substance from one place to another place. Once it is polluted one areas, again it polluted to other areas with the help of these natural carriers. If they will come in the part of food chain, then will also accumulate in each and every organism. Means they become the part of food chain by getting accumulated in the fatty tissue of living organisms including humans. So suppose we are using some chemical fertilizers that has all these properties. Once chemical fertilizer we are using for the production of plant from pesticides, if human being will consume, then that chemical will enter in our body. Okay, for example, grass is eaten by your rabbit, rabbit is eaten by your fox, fox is further eaten by a tiger. So this substance will be accumulated, or we can say magnified from one organism to another organism. Toxicity level is very high. They are termed as toxins for both human and wildlife. And bioaccumulation, this is a very important term in environment. Okay, what is bioaccumulation? So this is the persistent organic pollutant that get accumulated in the fatty tissues, and its concentration gets magnified. Magnified means concentration get increases from one species to another species. That will be the part of food chain. The species including at the higher level of the food chain absorb greater concentration of persistent organic pollutant and carry it along. For example, if we are using some chemical fertilizers, okay, like a grass, we are using chemical fertilizer on any of the plant. So suppose the insect will eat this, in one insect will eat the grass leaf of the grasses. Then from insect, then insect is consumed by a frog. Frog is further consumed by snake. Snake is further consumed by eagle. Okay, so magnification, bioaccumulation say that this fatty acid, this toxicity will be a high in which of the following species? This will be high in eagle. So it's magnified from each and every species. The higher level of a species that is in a present of food chain will have more concentration of persistent organic pollutant. So if in prelims they will ask you question, out of the following four option, insect, frog, snake and eagle, which organism have more concentration of persistent organic pollutant, this will be a eagle. Okay, so this is about the persistent organic pollutant. Now some important point that may be confusing in exam prelims. Okay, they will ask, they will give in a statement. So this is important to know. Global Environment Facility. The Global Environment Facility is the designated interim financial mechanism for the Stockholm Convention. Now, Global Environment Facility is also interim financial mechanism for other means event also. So, Global Environment Facility is the designated interim financial mechanism for the Stockholm Convention. Second important is United Nations Industrial Development Organization. Very important to remember the name of this organization, that takes the responsibility for developing nations and transitioning economies to help them implement Stockholm Convention measures. So maybe in place of United Nations Industrial Development Organization, they will use an organization name called UNDP, United Nations Development Program. So that statement will become wrong. So try to focus on in name of the organization, that actual implementing agency. Okay, so here United Nations Industrial Development Organization, this is the organization which takes the responsibility for developing nations and transitioning economy to help them implement Stockholm Convention measures. Now, what are the objective and aim of the Stockholm Convention? As you all know, this is about the persistent organic pollutant, that we have to protect our environment and human health from this persistent organic pollutant. And for that required policies from the government, a rule and regulation from the government that should be followed by each and every person, each and every country should be followed, each and every state should be followed. Now the objective is like to implement control measures for the persistent organic pollutant. What are the means important policies, rule and regulation required for the controlling, for spread of to stop the spread of such type of persistent organic pollutant? Second important thing is to develop and implement action plans for unintentionally produced chemicals. Okay, action plan for that is required for chemicals that is produced for any of the reason, that should be protected. To develop inventories for the chemical stockpiles, where we should be manage all the stockpiles of chemicals that after use, okay, where it should be recycle or what to do, that should be a proper policy should be there. To review and update the national implementation plan. So review and update after the gap of 5 years, 6 years, again a government should update it, review it, and to find out what are the new chemicals that means again released in the environment, that creates this type of problem, and that if they will find any of the new elements, chemicals, then they should be also included in the list of persistent organic pollutant. Okay, so to include the new chemicals in the reporting. And last year is to include the new chemicals in the program for effectiveness evaluation. So what are the policies of the government that should be implemented for the proper implementation of this international agreement? Now this international agreement have three important lists that categorize the Annex A, Annex B and Annex C. So this is on the basis of the chemicals, how chemicals they are harmful. So those chemicals that listed under the Annex A, that should be completely eliminated by the member states. There is some exceptions given for research and development for chemicals, but it should be completely eliminated, if possible completely eliminated. So that will become under annex A. Annex B, that chemicals, those chemicals that listed annex B, that should be restricted for their use. They should not be eliminated, but they're restricted. It means this, there should be some guideline, a very heavy guideline, or some areas where it can be used, but not it used in a large number of scale. That should be restricted. Annex C is unintentionally produced chemical are to be reduced with measures for ultimate elimination under these annexures. So those chemicals which are producing without any means purpose, without not so much use in the environment, that should be completely eliminated. So these are the list: Annex A, Annex B, Annex C. Okay. Now question is here, where India is a member of Stockholm Convention or not. So whenever any of the international agreement where India is a member, that becomes important for your prelims exam. Now here India is a party of Stockholm Convention. In May 2002, India signed this global treaty, and it came into force in January 2006. Okay, so it was signed by India in 2002 and came into force in 2006. So this is important 2 years name, you should remember for in India's perspective. Now, what are the important persistent organic pollutant that are the listed under the Stockholm Convention? So all the there are total number 12 persistent organic pollutant that are listed in under the Stockholm Convention, and they categorize into three categories. First one is called pesticides, second one is called industrial chemicals, and third one is called byproducts. Now, in prelims point of view, this is very important to know all the 12 chemicals that are listed under the Stockholm Convention, because they will ask you question, which of the following chemicals are not listed under Stockholm Convention. So it include your aldrin, chlorodane, DTT, dieldrin, andrin, heptachlor, hexachlorobenzene, mirex, and toxaphene. So total number of 9 chemicals that are the part of pesticides. 2 chemicals that will be the part of industrial chemicals called hexachlorobenzene and polychlorinated biphenyls. So total number of 11, and one is called byproduct called polychlorinated dibenzo dioxins, polychlorinated dibenzofurans. This will be the byproducts. So this is the 12. So 12 number, this 12 name of the chemicals that listed under the Stockholm Convention. See, name is very difficult to remember, but once you will read 2-3 times, you will easily eliminate the wrong option from a given option in your question paper, whatever the question will become. Now, what about the India? What India has taken action regarding persistent organic pollutant? So in India, basically, considering the commitment towards the providing safe environment and addressing human health risk, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate. Now, this is important. Which in ministry is here for implementing agency for Stockholm Convention policies that relate to policy and regulation is the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, has notified regulation of persistent organic pollutant rule in 2018 under the provision of Environment Protection Act 1986. This is very important term that will be important, because maybe in a statement they can ask you question, if government is notified this regulation of persistent organic pollutant in 2018, so under which environment, which act? Okay, this is like a Environment Protection Act 1986. Now, this regulation is also prohibited the manufacture, trade, use, import and export of 7 chemicals. Okay, 7 chemicals. Recently it was in news in October 2020. So that's why this year 2021 prelims, this is most important. So total number of 7 chemicals that ratified with the Indian government under the regulation of persistent organic pollutant, that is the part of your Stockholm Convention. Okay, what are the 7 chemicals called? First one is called chlorodecone. Second one is hexabromobiphenyl. Third one is hexabromodiphenyl ether, heptabromodiphenyl ether. Okay. Fourth one is called tetrabromodiphenyl ether and pentabromo-diphenyl ether. Fifth one is pentachlorobenzene, hexabromocyclodecane, and seventh one is your hexachlorobutadiene. So total number of 7 chemicals that listed under Stockholm Convention by Indian government. Okay. Now next important thing is here, another type of convention called Basal Convention. Now you should know the location of Basel, where Basel is exactly located. So Basel is located in country called Switzerland, European country that make a border with here. You see Germany. Okay, Germany is here. and the other side is France is here. So Basel is, this is the location of Basel that make a border with Germany. Okay, so this is important location. Now you know Montreux is another important place where you read about Montreux record in Ramsar Convention, Geneva Convention. Geneva is located here, or the important international agreement whenever you will read any of the, so that belong to this country's important cities of Switzerland. Okay, now after this, let's come to Basel Convention. What about the Basel Convention? So Basel Convention, basically it was adopted on 22nd March on 1989 by the Conference of Plenipotentiaries in Basel, and Basel is in Switzerland. That is called Basel Convention on the control of transboundary movement of hazardous waste and their disposal. Now this is the agreement which means that cover control of transboundary movement. Means if you are doing a trade with two countries, if they are engaged in any of the trade, there should be a control. There should be follow the procedure how to transport or how to do a trade in such type of hazardous waste that is not good for the human health and environment. So control of transboundary movement of hazardous waste and the disposal, generally known as Basel Convention, came into force in 1992. Okay, it was signed in 1989, but it came into 1992. So it is an international treaty that aims to reduce the movement of hazardous waste between countries. So this point is important. How it is an international agreement that control the trade. Okay, that is trade should not be done on such products that should be considered as harmful for uh, entire human health and environment. So it particularly focus on preventing transfer of hazardous waste from developed to less developed country. Now this most developed country, what they are doing, they are dumping all the waste product to a non less developed country. That further means affect the environment of less developed country. So this agreement, Basel Convention, basically focus on how we should control the transfer of such type of hazardous waste from developed to less developed countries. Okay, it provides for cooperation between the parties, including exchange of information on issues relevant to the implementation of the convention. So cooperation between the party, whatever the countries that will be a member, they require a cooperation, and they can also follow the procedures, rule and regulation. If they are transporting any of the product, that should be a means share, their information should be shared between the countries. Okay, now what are the list of waste that are included in this Basel Convention? So biomedical and healthcare waste. Okay, used oils, used lead acid batteries, persistent organic pollutant waste, chemicals and pesticides that persist for many years in the environment, polychlorinated biphenyls compound used in industry as heat exchange fluids, in electric transformers and capacitors, and additives in paints, carbonless copy paper, sealants and plastics. So these are the some important waste list of waste products that are regulated under this Basel Convention. Seventh one is thousands of chemical waste generated by industries and other consumers. Okay, so this is important to know all the important chemicals that listed under the Basel Convention. Okay, next one is here. There are total number of other important points regarding Basel Convention is there are total number of 188 members of the Basel Convention. How many countries are the member? 188. So India is also a member. India was ratified this convention in June 1992, and that came into force in 22nd September 1992. So again, this is India is also a member. Maybe question India, which of the following convention where India is not a member, or India is a member? Okay, so Basel Convention that was ratified in June 1992 and brought it into force on 22nd September 1992. Okay, so it does not address the movement of radioactive waste. This is very important point. Means Basel Convention does not address the movement of radioactive waste, and we know radioactive waste is a harmful chemical substance that if they will spread in the environment, then it create a problem. But Basel Convention does not cover a radioactive waste. Now let's talk some current affair topic from this Basel Convention. So it was the 14th meeting of Basel Convention which lays down guideline on the movement of hazardous waste, concluded in Geneva on the 10th May 2019 after 2 weeks of negotiation involving 187 countries. Now, what was the main outcome of this convention? Convention basically convention of party This was the 14th meeting. It was means declared that that include plastic waste is a legally binding framework. Okay, plastic waste. Now, plastic waste, you see in list of the that we had discussed in Basel Convention, plastic waste was not nowhere mentioned. But in 2019, when it was the agreement was signed, it was found that plastic waste should be also be included in the part of hazardous substance, which would make global trade in plastic waste more transparent and better regulated. Okay, also ensuring that this management is safe for human health and the environment. Okay, however, it does not bar country from exporting various category of plastic waste. This is again important. So it should be not completely banned for using a plastic. It's there should be a trade among the plastic items, but there should be a guideline, a better guideline, better monitoring should be there. That should be safely they can do a trade, because plastic pollution is create a major problem in marine pollutions and other pollution, other type of pollutions that create very heavy problems. So plastic waste should be regulated in a proper guideline. So this means convention meeting does not ban for exporting of various category of plastic waste. That should be happen, but it should not be completely polluted the environment. Okay, this is about Basel Convention. And the third one here is called Rotterdam Convention. You know where is Rotterdam is located? Rotterdam is located in Netherlands. Okay, so Rotterdam is located here. This is the location of Rotterdam. Okay, and Germany, Belgium, North Sea here. Rotterdam, you see, they are making border with the which water body? North Sea. Okay, Netherlands. So location is very important. Now, what is about this convention? So about Rotterdam Convention, we discuss in here in detail. So Rotterdam Convention is about it was adopted, okay, in on 10th September 1998 by Conference of Plenipotentiaries in Rotterdam, Netherlands, and entered into force on 24th February 2004. Again, I am repeating. You have to remember when it was came into force. It was came into force on 24th February 2004. Now, this Rotterdam Convention on the prior informed consent procedure, this is the main important point here. Keyword here is prior informed consent procedure. Maybe in prelims, which of the following convention have a procedure called prior informed consent? So you should know prior informed consent is Rotterdam Convention. For certain hazardous chemicals and pesticides in international trades, provide parties with a first line of defense against hazardous chemicals. So prior informed consent procedure, this it means if any two countries engage in any of the trade that include a hazardous chemical or pesticide, before importing, suppose or before exporting that product, country should share the means all the important points that related with that chemical or pesticides, how it should be handled, how it should be where it should be keep, okay, what how much amount of chemical should be released or how much not. So what are the important means dangerous things that can be happen if they will unsafely if they will release in the environment. So everything is discussed in detail before exporting or importing any of the product. So that is called certain hazardous chemicals and pesticide. So it promotes the international efforts to protect human health and environment, as well as enabling country to decide if they want to import hazardous chemicals and pesticides listed in the convention. So it also given one important idea to a importing country whether they want to import or not, whether this is important necessary to import this product or not. Okay, so India is a member of Rotterdam Convention. Okay, when India was signed it was signed on 24th May 2005, but it came into effect on 20 August 2nd August 2005. So Rotterdam Convention is about prior informed consent procedure. For what? If any of the country engage in certain type of they engage in trades called on hazardous chemicals and pesticide, that should be a completely give a guideline, completely share their information. Okay, now two industrial chemicals that are being discussed recently to be included in this list is here are called decabro-mo-diphenyl ether and perfluorooctanoic acid and decabro-mo-diphenyl ether. So two important chemicals that listed under this Rotterdam Convention. Okay, so this three important convention is also known as BRC Convention. Okay, Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm. Okay, Stockholm Conventions. So I hope this video is helpful for you, because in this year prelims maybe a question will come from this topic. Okay, thank you to everybody.